Representative Ro Khanna said on Monday that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Democrat of California, deserves the chance to lead amid talks of potential changes ahead of the party's leadership election. Anchor Jake Tapper on CNN's The Lead with Jake Tapper asked Khanna, one of the deputy whips of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, if the caucus will support having Pelosi as the leader in the new congressional term. Tapper mentioned that Representative Pramila Jayapal, the CPC's chairwoman, avoided answering the question of whether her caucus will support Pelosi holding the Democratic leadership position for another term. I support the Speaker. I think she has been incredible in her leadership, Khanna told Tapper during Monday's segment, citing the courage Pelosi showed during the January 6, 2021 attack on the Capitol and following the violent attack on her husband, Paul Pelosi, at their California residence last month. She showed courage in certifying the election after January 6. She's shown incredible courage to still be out there after the heinous attack on Paul Pelosi, Khanna said, noting he will also support other potential candidates if Nancy Pelosi doesn't run. Man, these articles are awful. Again, she deserves a chance to lead, and if she chooses to lead, she'll have my support. If she makes way for a new generation, of course I'll support the new candidates, he said. Khanna's remarks come a day after Jayapal sidestepped questions during a CPC press conference about potential House leadership bids for herself and Pelosi at the party as the party prepares for its leadership elections later this month. We always consider all people who are running very carefully, and we usually have a set of things that we ask for us as the Progressive Caucus part of these negotiations, and we're looking forward to seeing them. Jayapal said at the news conference, adding that she's focused on getting more progressive victories on undecided elections. In an interview on CNN's State of the Union, the speaker told co-anchor Dana Bash that she has been asked by colleagues to stay in a leadership role within the party due to Democrats' performance in last week's midterm elections. My members are asking me to consider doing that, Pelosi told Bash. But again, let's just get through the election. So I've been a big Roe defender. I think he has led on a lot of issues relating to foreign policy, and that he is someone who has supported, single payer, free college, other initiatives I like on the domestic front. But these are some of the stupidest comments I've ever heard or read, reported by, to have been stated or written or to have come out of his mouth. And look, I haven't seen the interview, so maybe he said it in some tone that makes it sound more coherent. So let's just get the elephant out of the room. I condemned Pelosi's husband getting attacked. I said it was wrong. I said it shouldn't have happened. I said it was messed up that a person who disagrees with her politically would attack her husband, because I don't support violence on lawmakers, even the ones that I think are terrible. I would never back any physical harm coming to them or people that happen to be related to them. This is a democracy, after all. If you disagree with somebody, you can vote them out. But I'm reading these comments. I don't even know where to begin. He supports the speaker. I think she has been incredible in her leadership. What leadership? You go up to anyone on Twitter. By the way, Democratic Twitter, like just politics on Twitter is terrible. But you go up to anyone on Twitter that supports her. You go up to anyone on any of these news stations that backs her. And the only piece of legislation that they can bring up, that they can cite, is her role in getting the Affordable Care Act passed, which was a right-wing healthcare plan that is only considered good because there was nothing before. It's really disturbing that in a 30-year career in the House, people can only mention one bill. And he doesn't even mention that. He says that she showed leadership with regard to certifying the election after January 6th, that was courage. Well, I mean, if I have a bunch of security guards and people who are going to lay down their life for me, and all I have to do is sit in the room and say, the election has been certified, Biden has won, I'm probably going to look very courageous as well by that logic. And the attack on her husband, while I condemn, has nothing to do with her ineffectualness as a leader. And that's the part of this that made me laugh. He actually said that she deserves the chance to lead. Now, when you say the chance, the inference when you make a comment like that is that she's never led before. This is the beginning of her reign as the Speaker of the House or the Democratic leader. You know, he makes it sound as if this is some new, untested young whippersnapper that we should take a chance on. But this is a lady that has had two tenures as Speaker of the House, and both of them have been dreadful. You look at her at the 2010 election, right? Democrats lose over 60 seats in the House. And you have Pelosi. What does she say? She's not a good public speaker. That's evident. And a lot of Republicans were able to win by attaching candidates who didn't agree with her, who have nothing to do with her, to her brand. She was so undesirable and so unpopular with her like 30-20% approval rating that you could lose an election just by having the same initial by your name that she does. And then you go to her most recent tenure. You have the longest government shutdown in US history. You have really nothing, again, no major legislation. And I don't blame her for the stuff with Biden like not being able to pass Build Back Better, because that was Manchin and all the shenanigans in the Senate. She has no control over that. But what I'm getting at here is that this is a person who has been at the lead of Democratic power for pretty much the duration of very little achievements and actual legislation passing, who for whatever reason has these people that are in the caucus who want to get along with her, so they pretend as if she's this master legislator who's passing bills every year that are helping people and transforming their lives. But you don't see that. And she's not some master policy crafting politician. She called the Green New Deal the Green Dream or whatever. Who remembers that? I mean, I don't see how anyone who follows this stuff, whether they're a politician or someone that records videos from their bedroom, can make a conclusion that she is an effective leader. Like, it's so absurd to me. Now, the other part of this I want to talk about, because it actually is the reason that this is happening. Toward the end of the article, it is stated that Pelosi claims that she has Democrats who are calling for her to remain, right? To remain in leadership. They want her, they need her. They think she should keep having some role in their caucus as like one of the big figureheads, right? One of the people that you see more often than any of the other ones when they do these conferences and go on TV and have, just have to still have some level of power. Well, the reason for that is because Pelosi's political prowess, if you can even call it that, relies on one ability. Oh, here it is. My members are asking me to consider doing that. Her leadership relies on one trait that's helpful to Democrats, and that is her unprecedented ability to fundraise. She's 100 millionaire. She is someone who, even though she has no charisma, she has no record that's even worth praising, she's able to get those donors to pump all those millions of dollars to this party. So when these people are saying, "Hey, we want her to stick around," it's not because they're thinking, "Oh man, for Biden's next term, the latter half of his first term, only term, whatever we'll see in 2024, she'll be there trying to pass stuff in the House, and she'll be making deals with Republicans to get things done for the people." No, they want her to be there so they can raise money, so they can stay on their seats forever and coast to having the easiest job in the world, while Americans get nothing and they stuff their pockets, referring to these politicians. And it's really insane to me that he of all people is shilling the hardest for her. Pelosi doesn't want free college. She doesn't want single payer. She doesn't support the Green New Deal. She's got a pretty ambiguous record on war. Sometimes she has some anti-war votes. A lot of times she doesn't. I know she's bigger military budgets, but that's another story. Point is, this is someone who could be considered to his right, and he's like, no, no, keep her as the leader, keep her as the leader. And like, I just don't understand where if you have someone who fails over and over to do anything that actually helps people, why you would keep them around if you're actually trying to pass stuff. But I guess we're at a point where they're not trying to pass anything. They're just trying to squeeze as many coins into their pockets as possible. So in that instance, I guess we should stay with the decrepit fossil that is able to fundraise and not able to actually get things passed to help people. God, it's so sad that this is even the progressives, the people that are supposed to side with you and I. They back politicians. They're to the right of them, and like I forgave Khanna over the Joe Crowley, the like weird dual endorsement with him and AOC, but this is really absurd. Pelosi deserves the chance to lead after being speaker twice. Imagine if there was a CEO of a company where the business lost a bunch of profits, people were laid off, they were hated by those that were like trying to by customers. They had low approval rating with customers, poor reception. Do you think somebody would tell them, would not only bring them back for a second tenure as the head of the company, but then when they're trying to get them to stay on even longer, go, oh, they deserve a chance to lead? They had their chance. So I said the U.S. is so frustrating because most people don't pay attention to politics as much as I and a lot of other people do. But if they did, one of their criterias would be, look here, congressman, congresswoman. Um, we can have some disagreements on a few issues. We have some core, similarities. But if there's one thing I want you to do for this term, don't give Pelosi another 2 years as Speaker of the House, House Minority Leader, House Majority Leader, whichever one you want to go by. Because this is a lady who's been in the House for over 30 years and only has one bill that people bring up over and over, and is only well liked for that one bill, and pretty much just being the biggest fundraiser out of any of the crooks. So I just deserves the chance to lead. We should just end it at that. The person who has been speaker twice, has passed damn near nothing in 30 years in the House, and failed to stop a lot of Trump's initiatives, deserves the chance to lead. A lot of people were upset by Roe v. Wade being overturned earlier this year. I hope people realize that Pelosi was Speaker when Obama was in his first term and could have pushed for him to codify Roe v. Wade in the law, and she didn't. But yeah, she deserves the chance to lead. We need to see more of that great leadership that gets nothing passed except one bill every 20 years and stuffs the pockets of a bunch of politicians that don't care about anyone but themselves and staying on their seats forever and ever.